Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, going to be talking through a couple of my favorite plays on Prizepicks for today's slate for Wednesday, April the 20th. Once again, got a 3-game slate tonight. We're going to talk through 4 plays that I have to share in this video. Recording this video on Tuesday night. Most of the board has been posted already, so we have pretty much all the props up for all the starters. We'll have to see what other props get added as the day goes on Wednesday. I'm sure they'll add some more props up to the board. They'll probably add some of the bench players. I do provide additional plays over on Patreon, so if you guys have been enjoying these first look videos, giving out a couple of free plays each day. If you've been playing these free plays and you want to get more content from me, more of my Prizepicks plays, I do provide those over on Patreon. Usually after the full board's been posted later in the afternoon, around maybe 4 or 5 Eastern time, I do provide about 3, 4, 5 additional plays that I like for Prizepicks that I have some entries on. So if you guys want to get access to those, you can check out the Patreon, see all that I do have to offer over there. It's linked down below in the description. But yeah, we'll talk through these 4 plays for today, kind of share why I like them. Before we do, we can recap Tuesday's plays. Tuesday, not a great day, man. I'll just be transparent. We went 2-2 on the 4 plays that we gave out Tuesday. Tuesday was just a weird day for the NBA. The Memphis-Minnesota game was a massive blowout. Everyone in that game was in foul trouble, it seemed like. Ja Morant got hurt and went to the locker room. And then, in the Phoenix game, the Suns got upset by the Pelicans. Devin Booker got hurt. The Miami-Atlanta game was a fairly normal game. It stayed close. It was competitive. But we'll talk through the 4 plays we shared yesterday. So for Tuesday's slate, we gave out the over 37.5 PRA for Karl-Anthony Towns. That actually wound up being one of the taco discounts for the day, and neither one hit. The taco discount didn't hit, and the original line didn't hit either. I had over 37.5 PRA for Cat. I can't remember how much he finished with, but he just had a terrible game. Minnesota got blown out. Cat was in massive foul trouble. He had 5 fouls in the fourth quarter. He didn't play nearly as many minutes as I thought he would because of the blowout and because of the foul trouble. Just a terrible game from Cat. Kyle Lowry, I don't know what happened to him. He played pretty big minutes like I expected him to. He literally shot the ball 6 times. He didn't do anything. I think he scored maybe 6 points, had 3 rebounds and 3 assists, and that was literally it. He was out there just doing cardio. He played huge minutes like I thought he would, just he wasn't productive. But the 2 picks we did hit Tuesday were the under for Steven Adams' PRA, which hit it was not even a sweat. Steven Adams literally played 2 minutes. He picked up 2 fouls and never played again. So that was a very good underplay. I don't know why, but it seems like anytime I give out unders, they always hit. Maybe I need to start betting more unders. But the Steven Adams under did hit, and then the over on Chris Paul's assist also hit. I think he finished with 14 or 15 assists. So 2-2 on Tuesday. Not the best day, obviously, but we'll bounce back today. Again, I got 4 plays that I'm going to share in this video. Before we do, give out the plays for today, guys, just make sure you hit that like button down below. I always appreciate the likes. Always appreciate you guys checking out these videos. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button as well. I do upload these Prizepicks videos daily, giving out a couple of free plays that I like each day. And again, I do give out additional plays that I like over on Patreon. So if you want to get access to those, you can check out the Patreon content link down below in the description. And if you are new to Prizepicks, you want to sign up over there, you can sign up with my promo code Noah. They will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. So definitely get over to Prizepicks and check out their board, see the props they have to offer, and make sure to sign up with that code so you get that deposit bonus. But let's go ahead and start and talk through the 4 plays for today. So I have 3 fantasy point projections that I think are too low for today, and then I have a points prop that I think is too low as well. So we'll start off with the fantasy point projections. Right off the bat, top of the board here, I'm taking the over 49 fantasy points for Kevin Durant. This is one prop that I like quite a bit for today. I know Kevin Durant was kind of disappointing in game 1 of this series. Obviously had a really bad game, went for 32 fantasy points, one of the worst games he's had in a while. But you look before that, he had gone over 49 fantasy points in 4 straight games, following or prior to last game. Worth noting though that this Brooklyn team, with how they're set up right now, they have to play Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving huge minutes. They just don't have a choice. They don't get enough offense out of anyone else. No one else provides them consistent scoring, consistent shooting. So it's basically just the KD and Kyrie show. And you can take a look at the usage this season. It backs it up. This season, Kevin Durant has led the team in usage, 33% usage rate in the 1,102 minutes he's played without James Harden on the floor this year. He's averaging over 51 fantasy points per 36, and we know that Kevin Durant's playing over 36 minutes today. He's playing 40, 42 minutes. I think on last game, in game 1, I think he played 41 minutes, if I do believe. Let me see. Yeah, 41 minutes for Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant's going to play massive minutes. He's going to get massive usage. He led the team in usage last game, had a 34.4% usage rate. I know he didn't have that great of a game. He shot the ball pretty terribly. He only shot 9 for 24. I expect KD to bounce back here. I think getting over 49 fantasy points, just with how many minutes he's going to play, with how much he's going to be on the floor, with how Kevin Durant can like stuff the stat sheet and do everything. He only had 4 rebounds and 3 assists last game, but that's kind of unlike him. I mean, we saw literally like 2 games ago before that he had a triple double. Like he can get rebounds, he can get assists, he can just do everything. I like over 49 fantasy points for him. I think he's going to have to play huge minutes once again. Obviously, Kyrie had a big game last game, and Kyrie's been playing really well. I could see taking Kyrie's over in fantasy points too, because I think Kyrie's going to have to play 40-plus minutes. But I feel a little bit better about KD. I like betting on star players after they have a bad game. Like a lot of times you'll see the prop lines get bumped down from what they normally would be. Like normally KD would be projected for like 52, 53 fantasy points, but I think because he had a bad game last game, his projection went down a little bit. Well, this is a perfect time, in my opinion, to jump on him. I know the matchup's not that ideal, but Kevin Durant's a matchup-proof player. He's going to play massive minutes. I like his chances of getting over 49 fantasy points. I expect him to bounce back here and have a much better game than he did in Game 1. And then the other 2 fantasy point projections I like are both coming from the same teams. You know, these Bulls guys, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine, they had to play huge minutes in their Game 1 of the series against Milwaukee. And you can take a look at their usage. So Vooch led the team in usage in that game in Game 1. He had a 33.7% usage rate. DeMar DeRozan had a 29% usage rate. And Zach LaVine had a 27.9% usage rate. The next highest usage guy on the team was Kobe White, who had a 17% usage rate. And then behind him was Patrick Williams, who had a 10% usage rate. I mean, that just shows you everything you need to know. These are going to be the guys taking all the shots, doing all the heavy lifting. The usage backed that up. And I'm pretty sure they all took like Vooch took like 27 shots last game. DeRozan took like 25 shots. I think LaVine shot the ball like 19 or 20 times. Pretty sure nobody else outside of Kobe White shot the ball more than 10 times. I think Patrick Williams took like 3 shots. Io took like 1 shot. Caruso shot the ball like maybe 5 or 6 times. Like, it's just going to be Vooch, DeRozan, and LaVine doing everything for this team. They have to play huge minutes. I think all 3 of them played about 40 minutes last game. I think DeRozan played over 40. Vooch played close to 40. LaVine played like 36, but he also was in foul trouble. So I'm liking all the overs for the Bulls guys, DeRozan, Vooch, and LaVine, just because I think they're all going to have to play massive minutes here. I think the way this goes poorly and the way this fails is if this game just blows out, and obviously Milwaukee is a very good team. Playing at home, they could definitely blow out the Bucks here, or blow out the Bulls here. But if the game stays close, I feel good about these Bulls guys hitting their props. DeRozan had a terrible shooting game last game, and he still went over 40 fantasy points. He finished with 42.6, and he shot the ball. I have the game log pulled up on my other monitor. He shot 6 for 25 last game. He shot 24% from the field, still scored 42 fantasy points. He played 43 minutes. He did have 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals, which, obviously that's something that probably doesn't happen again. But if he just has a mediocre shooting game last game, he's probably going for like 52, 53, 54 fantasy points. I mean, over 40 fantasy points for DeMar DeRozan just looks great. I mean, he's going to play over 40 minutes. He's better than a fantasy point per minute player this year. I mean, per 36, he's averaging 43 fantasy points per 36, and he's going to play way over 36 minutes. He's going to play like 40, 42. So I really like the over 40 fantasy points for DeMar DeRozan. That's our second pick that I like. And then I was debating between Vooch or LaVine. Obviously, LaVine, he barely went over last game. I did take his over. His projection last game was 36, and it went down a little bit. It went down to 35 for today. He finished with 37.5, so he went over for us last game. I like the LaVine over as well, but Vooch had a great game last game. He played big minutes as well. He scored 54 fantasy points. I have his game log pulled up on my other monitor. He didn't even have that great of a shooting game. He shot 9 for 27. 33% from the field, 20% from 3, still scored 54 fantasy points. He had 24 points, 17 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. Vooch, he's a very productive point per minute player. I know during the regular season, especially towards the end of the regular season, Vooch was underperforming. He was playing very poorly. You can see it in his game log. I mean, those final 3, 4, 5 games to the end of the regular season, he was terrible. I mean, he was like 34 fantasy points, 19 fantasy points, 21 fantasy points. I think he's fully healthy now heading into the playoffs, and obviously him playing 39 minutes in that first game shows that he's fully healthy. So I'm thinking we're getting like 38, 40 minutes from Vooch. He's another guy that's a fantasy point per minute player, better than that. Per 36, he's actually averaging more fantasy points per 36 than DeRozan this season, which is kind of crazy. He's averaging 43.8 fantasy points per 36 this year, and I expect Vooch to play over 36 minutes. I expect him to play about 38 to 40. I like the upside that he has when he's getting these big minutes. He obviously led the team in usage last game. I think these projections are too low. Like, I think DeRozan should be projected for like 45, 46. I think Vooch should be projected for like 42. I think Levine should be projected for like 38, 40. I like all these Bulls guys today. If you wanted to play them all in the same entry, like you could. Obviously, that's a little bit risky, but if this game does stay close, I mean, I feel very confident that DeRozan, Vooch, and Levine are all probably hitting their overs in fantasy points because I think these projections are all too low. I mean, the Bulls literally scored 86 points last game, and these guys all still went over their projections. Like, 86 points. I mean, that's so bad. Like, NBA teams in 2022 never score 86 points. Normally, on average, an NBA team is going to put up like 100 points in a game. They scored 86 points as a team last game. It was a super low-scoring game. And, these guys still hit. So I like the overs for all the Bulls guys, but for the sake of this video, we're going to take the over 40 fantasy points for DeMar DeRozan and the over 37 fantasy points for Nikola Vucevic as our third pick, second and third pick. And then the fourth pick. So take a deep breath. I know if you watched the video on Monday, I think it was, we took the over on Fred VanVleet's points. It was 20.5, and he finished with 20. It was, we talked about it in that video. It was so tilting that Fred VanVleet did not go over last game. When it comes to DFS, man, when it comes to gambling, just sports betting in general, when it comes to betting player props, you got to have a short memory. I've said this before, when it comes to DFS, especially if you play a guy in your DFS lineup and he burns you, you just can't let it get to you. I mean, it's a new day. You have to look at the data. You have to look at the stats. And what's really stands out, I mean, VanVleet played like just massive minutes last game. He literally played almost the entire game. He played the entire first half. He played 44 minutes last game. Took 23 shots. He had a terrible shooting game. He shot 30% from the field, 31% from three. Still scored 20 points while shooting 30% from the field last game. Look, I don't care that he burned me and he cost me money last game. Over 21 fantasy points for Fred VanVleet. When I knew this, Scottie Barnes and Gary Trent were probably not going to play again for Wednesday, I was just waiting to see what the line was going to be for VanVleet's points. And if it wasn't going to be much higher than it was on Tuesday, or Monday, that is, I was going to take it. And once I saw that his line was set at 21.5, I knew I was going to take it. I have to. I mean, the minutes are there. He's playing. He might play the entire game. Like, VanVleet has been able to handle playing massive minutes, and Nick Nurse will run him into the ground. They don't have a choice. I mean, if Toronto wants to get back in even this series, I mean, they got to win this game. It's they're back at home. I expect Toronto to play well. I think this game will stay close. Maybe Toronto can get the win here. VanVleet's just going to have to play so many minutes. He's going to take a ton of shots. He led the team in usage last game with Scottie Barnes out, with Gary Trent, half of Gary Trent playing. Gary Trent played last game, but he played 10 minutes. VanVleet led the team in usage, had a 28.9% usage rate so far this season. When you look at the usage without Scottie Barnes, who's doubtful, so Scottie Barnes is not expected to play today, and then Gary Trent's questionable. After what I saw last game, I mean, I don't think Gary Trent plays today. It seems that illness that he's dealing with is really bothering him, given that he had to leave last game and did not return. So honestly, I'm expecting Gary Trent to sit again. Even if Gary Trent plays, I wouldn't be too worried about VanVleet. I still think VanVleet's just going to have a massive role and going to play massive minutes. And again, this season, when you take those guys off the floor, he's got the second highest usage rate on the team, behind Siakam. He's averaging over 24 points per 36 this year. And he's not playing 36 minutes today. He's playing like 45 minutes. So I feel really good about VanVleet going over 21.5 points. If he has another god-awful shooting game and goes under, it is what it is. I'll be very annoyed. I'll be very pissed off. But I really think when you look at, how many minutes VanVleet's going to play, how many shot attempts he's going to probably take, how much usage he's going to get, with Scottie Barnes doubtful, with Gary Trent questionable, with it pretty likely that at least one of those guys is sitting, most likely Barnes, but maybe both of them sit, maybe Gary Trent sits too. VanVleet's just going to have a massive role, and the minutes are going to be absurd. I mean, like I said, he literally might play the entire game. I don't think it's out of the possibility that VanVleet plays 48 minutes today. So I'm taking over 21.5 points for Fred VanVleet. It burned me last game. Don't care. Going right back to it. It's just too good to pass up on with how many minutes he's playing, with how much usage he's getting right now. I'll continue to play it. And if he has a terrible shooting game and goes under, I'll be pissed off, but we'll live with it. I really think the numbers really back this up, and the shot attempts are what really matters. Volume is huge, minutes are huge. That's all I care about. So I'm taking over 21.5 points, for Fred VanVleet as our fourth and final play today, and that's what I've got for Wednesday's slate. 4 picks, over 49 fantasy points for Kevin Durant, over 40 fantasy points for DeMar DeRozan, over 37 fantasy points for Nikola Vucevic, and over 21.5 points for Fred VanVleet. Hopefully we can go 4-0 today, guys, get a clean sweep. The last few days have not been great, I'll be honest. Had a really big day Sunday, and ever since then, the last 2 days it's been pretty terrible, but we're going to bounce back today. I got a good feeling about today's slate. Hopefully these games stay close, no blowouts, no foul trouble, none of that bull crap. I thought getting into the playoffs we wouldn't have to worry about blowouts and stuff, but it seems like we might still have to be worried about that. But hopefully if these games stay close and there's no foul trouble or anything like that, all our guys can go over and we can win some money tonight. But that's what I got for this slate, guys. Appreciate you watching the video as always. Hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button as well if you have not yet. Again, go sign up for Prizepicks. Use promo code NOAH. When you do, Prizepicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And lastly, just appreciate all you guys' support. Appreciate all you guys checking out these videos. We've been getting a lot of new faces on the channel. Big time jump in viewership the last few days on the Prizepicks videos. So thank you to everyone who's been checking out the videos. I know the picks have not been doing that well the last 2 days, but you just got to stick with me. You got to trust the process. I really feel like in the end I'm making the right decisions. My analysis is correct. It's just it's going to come down to can these guys make shots? Like the other night, I expected VanVleet to play huge minutes. I expected VanVleet to shoot the ball a ton. He played huge minutes. He shot the ball 23 times. I can't help that a guy shoots 25, 30% from the field. That's something that I can't control. But being able to, when my analysis is correct, that's what really matters to me. And the last few days, I feel like I've been correct on my decision making. It just turns out that things haven't gone the way I thought they would in terms of shooting wise. Like guys just aren't shooting the ball well. This and that, but. Still, I'm trusting the process. We'll bounce back after these few bad days. I got a good feeling about today's slate, so it's what I'm rolling with for today, guys. Again, best of luck on the slate. If you're tailing, good luck to you guys. I appreciate you watching the video. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That's what I've got for today. Best of luck, and we will see you guys in the next video. Appreciate you watching. See you in the next one. Peace.